A friend and fellow libertarian, Tracy Baker from Oklahoma, posted today in the LP 2020 delegates unofficial group the following. To all the hashtag NeverWeld delegates. I'm not a huge Weld fan. I don't want to back him for POTUS in 2020. However, unless another candidate who will be able to grow the party throws their hat in, I will be supporting Weld. That being said, which serious candidates will be pursuing our nomination that I should consider? Note, a platform of anarchy is not a party-growing platform. I love our activists, but nominating someone whose entire platform is screaming taxation is theft is not conducive to party growth. From 2005 to 2009, I attended college. First at Scottsdale Community College, where I earned my associates in applied science and motion picture television, and then later at Arizona State University, where I earned my dual baccalaureates in communication and political science. My major focus during my entire time in school was on international relations theory, foreign policy, political communication, and persuasion and social influence. I went this route despite having the end goal of being a film critic, because I found how we communicated ideas was just as, if not more so, important as the ideas themselves. In the hard sciences, one of the greatest weaknesses is lacking solid spokespeople who can really bridge the gap between their respective experiences of the speaker and their audience in an effective way so as not to only be heard but understood. Without this, the hard sciences fail to take root in the minds of men. They don't understand the concepts and in turn don't truly own these ideas. This is something we utterly fail at in politics, particularly in the Libertarian Party. The overwhelming majority of members are fiercely independent, highly logical beings who can pore over a dusty tome on economics, peruse charts and graphs, and look at dull numbers on a printout regarding voter data and understand it implicitly. That is truly impressive. That is also a quality possessed by few. If you plotted our respective personalities as outlined in the Myers-Briggs typology indicator on a graph, we would all fall 1 or 2 standard deviations away from the mean, while the lion's share of society would be clustered in the middle of the bell curve. Why? Because most of us are intuitive thinkers. We look at an isolated incident and are able to extrapolate it beyond the immediate scenario into a universal concept bordering on esoteric. The rest of society, the bulk of it, in fact, are sensing. If they cannot immediately see, hear, taste, touch, or smell it, it doesn't resonate with them. When we speak on immigration, for example, we can see how policies hampering the movement of peaceful people is inherently immoral. To your average person, they only know what they see, and what they see is strictly anecdotal evidence about how their good buddy lost his job while his undocumented coworker did not. To them, this is the injustice, and they do not see beyond the immediate sphere of influence, do not recognize that correlation is not causation, do not understand that the arguments they are fed by the politicians courting their vote are built entirely on emotional appeals and have nothing to do with what's logical, just, moral, or right. This is not to assign a normative value on the way other people process information. There's nothing good or bad about being sensing rather than intuitive, any more than suggesting someone has a learning disability because they prefer videos or hands-on experience to book reading as a means of understanding subject matter. It's just different. And because most of us in here fighting this fight day in and day out don't think that way, we oftentimes forget that other people, most people in fact, do. Judd Weiss said this in an episode of Blast Off with Johnny Rocket and Raylene Lightheart, and it was so totally on the money it bears repeating. The Libertarian Party's greatest struggle to take hold and gain popularity is because we are allowing our engineers to do the talking and not the salespeople. This is our issue. This and this alone. Yet in all our time here, since our inception, we keep thinking it's not how we say it, it's what we're saying, and this has led to the continuous, frustrating, and oftentimes debilitating debates that put us as activists, supposedly the same mind on the end goal, at constant loggerheads. We have consistently and without fail brought in career politicians who have cut their teeth in the other parties espousing those beliefs as our knights in shining armor when it comes time to pick someone to represent our beliefs and interests. And then, of course, they don't. I know all this because I've been in this actively as a volunteer wearing a variety of different hats since 2009 and have seen this point brought home multiple times over. It is not our message, it is our messaging. That I am an anarchist is not what's going to harm our movement. After all, who better to speak our message than someone who will always default to, there's a better way of solving this problem without using coercion? Isn't that the entire point of us wanting to see a world set free in our lifetimes? By rejecting the cult of the omnipotent state? We have to have a spokesperson that recognizes these fundamental differences in understanding ideas and can communicate effectively so that we can solve our problems without requiring the use of force. I am a leader. I am strong, and I will steer this ship with our moral compass set firmly on true north. I am Kim Ruff, and I am running for the Libertarian Party's nomination for president in 2020.